Everyone. So nice to see you guys again, our third meeting in a row. Today is a true test of your discipline, your consistency, and your commitment. And so let me start by asking, how many of you on here are here for your third straight week? By raising hands. Nice. What I want to do is to change our status. I want to stand up and give yourself a round of applause. Everyone stand up for me. Entertain me. Stand up. I know it's a lot to get out of your seat. You're sitting down. Stand up. Come on, Eduardo. I'm going to call you out, Eduardo. Stand up, buddy. I know you're not that short. There you go. Good job, you guys. Thank you so much. Because you guys deserve that round of applause, you guys. Seriously, like showing up 3 weeks in a row is amazing. And I just gotta say, like, it's tough because we can make a lot of excuses for the reason why we can't come, or maybe the accountability, or all the reason in the world. And so I just want to recognize how amazing that is. And congrats for showing up for the third time. Showing up consistently, especially when no one's watching except for me. And listen, before I start, if you guys don't have your camera on, turn your camera on so I can engage with you, right? I like to see, I get energy from you guys. I've said this the third week in a row, but turn that camera on so everyone can see you and we can all engage. But when you show up when no one's watching, that is a foundation of greatness, right? The morning routine, no one's going to be watching you. No one's going to be watching you prospect every single day, but you, and you're the most important person. So let's talk about discipline for a second before we start off this call. What is discipline? What is the definition of discipline? I'm going to tell you what the definition of discipline is for me. It's doing the thing that you don't feel like doing, and you do it anyways. You do it when you don't feel like doing it. That's the moment. And that's what you got to get used to doing, is doing things when you don't feel like doing it. And let's be honest, that's most of the time. We don't feel like doing most of the things. We don't feel like eating right. We don't feel like going to bed at a decent hour. We don't feel like working out every day. We don't feel like prospecting every day. We don't feel like, spending the uninterrupted time with our kids or our wives. But you got to do it. And here's the twist. Discipline alone is not enough. You got to pair it with consistency. Write this down. Consistent discipline creates growth. Consistent discipline leads to transformation. Now, what's the opposite of discipline? Regret. Discipline might hurt you for an hour, maybe 3 when you're going through the process. Maybe you're miserable and you don't like doing what you're doing. Maybe you don't want to go for that morning walk. Maybe you don't want to do weights. Maybe you don't want to get in the cold plunge. Maybe you don't want to get in the sauna. But regret, I'm going to tell you, regret lingers. It weighs you down. It follows you for months, years, maybe the rest of your life. There's going to be that little voice whispering to you, I should have. What if I had? What if I just had done that? But you know what? We're not going to live there anymore. When you're in the moment of choice, when it's hard and uncomfortable, choose the temporary pain of discipline over that long-term pain of regret. Because I'm telling you, regret sucks. Not doing it, it's like, okay, I didn't have to go to the gym today. But then it's going to loom over you all day long because you want to get better. You want to lose the weight. You want to be in better shape. You want to have more energy. So just do it. Do the things that we're learning through this 90-day massive action plan. The ones that do it, the ones that show up week after week after week and learn this and then execute, you're going to get the best results from your life. And I'm not just talking about LifeWave. I want you guys to understand this is not just about the LifeWave business. This is about life overall. So let's recap what we've been working on these last 2 weeks. We want to rewrite the story in our own head. That broken record, that one that plays the lies, the doubts that we've had our whole entire life. We're starting to flip that script. We're changing the language we use with ourselves, because that internal narrative, it controls everything in your life. We talked about the success snowflake. Remember, your success, my success, Kyle's success, Eduardo's success, they're all different. We all have different definitions of what success means. But I want you guys to sit down with your family and share your vision of what success looks like for you. Get on the same page with your husband, or at least allow him to know what success means for you. Get on the same page with your kids. Talk to your friends. Just have the conversation. When you have the conversation, it's fun. You get to know people on a much deeper level. So, did you do it? If not, do it tonight, do it tomorrow. They deserve to know where you're headed and why. The other thing we talked about is the morning routine. I want to hear from you guys today. And where did you succeed? I want to know where you failed. Talking about failure is an okay thing. I want you guys to get used to that, because when you acknowledge the failure, it helps you create more success. What felt hard? What was the hardest part of the morning routine to actually stick with? Was it the reading? Was it going for the morning walk? Was it the exercise? What was the most hard part of the whole process of trying to implement and execute that morning routine? Remember, I want to recover mine again. I wake up, I meditate, or you can pray, whatever speaks to you. You can start with just a few minutes. It doesn't have to be 20 minutes like I do. I read 90 pages. I suggest you guys start with 7 to 10. I write for an hour. Start writing just for 5 minutes. Write down what you loved about yesterday. Write down what you would have changed about yesterday. Write down what you appreciate about yesterday. But just sit down and write and express gratitude. I walk 3 miles every single morning. You can start with just walking 5 to 10 minutes. I ground 10 minutes. Start with 2 or 3. Just get your feet to the earth. Have that stillness in your life. I work out for an hour. You can begin with 10, 15 minutes. I sauna for 15 to 20 minutes. You can begin with 5 to 10. So what I want to do now is I want to just take a few minutes, and this is not a rhetorical question. I want to hear from you guys. I want other people to hear from you guys. Like I said, what was the pain? What did you love about this? And let's hear about the morning routine from some of you. So if you guys would do me a favor and just raise your hand and kind of tell me how it went for you, I would love to hear that. Okay, Donna, and I saw someone's hand go up. So if you want to raise your hand with um the react button, you can do that, or you could just unmute yourself. Go ahead, Donna.
Okay, for me, I really it was really awkward, but it was also very, how do I say it, freeing, because establishing a routine instead of doing this then and doing this whatever, and I just made myself do it. So I wake up, I pray. I'm an avid reader, so reading 120 pages a day is like a no-brainer for me. I mean, I sat down like the book Carrie Robertson wrote, and I think your words create your world or change your words or your world or create your, I can't remember the exact title, but I sat down to start the book and I read the whole book. I read the whole entire book and did not move until I finished the book. And I was like, oh my gosh, I got to order more copies. People need to read this. It's amazing. I journaled. The hard part for me was the exercise, because I'm a member of a gym, but I was not routinely going. I was going here and there. And I was like, this is it. I got to do it. So I set a time, fit it into my morning routine. I go every single day, 5 days a week, bar none. I go for an hour. I may not work out hard or do 3 reps, but I'm in there and I'm moving and I'm doing, and my body feels so much better. And with this patch, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm not even sore. So it's just been so freeing to me. And the funny thing is, my husband with the 5-way bypass, I mean, his life's been changed with the patch, but I have not been able to get him in the gym. I didn't say a word. He's been watching me. He's coming with me and getting on the bike. I mean, it's a start. I'm like, praise God. So it was just freeing, but it was so hard to do it. But I just had to make, there were days I didn't feel like it, but I was like, I can't fail. I have to do this. No matter how bad I feel, no matter how bad my day's going, I'm doing this. And I just stuck to it. I knew I had to be accountable, and I had to be accountable to this group. So to fulfill that was very empowering for me.
Donna, that's awesome. And you guys, that's what's going to happen within your circle, right? Because when you start having a transformation, you're going to start telling other people, and then the closest people to you are going to watch, and they're going to want to do what you're doing because they see the transformation happening. That's what happened with my
Yes.
wife. She used to think I was crazy, to do these things every single morning. She used to always make comments about it. And then all of a sudden she started doing it. It was pretty
Yeah.
amazing, right? I didn't ask her to do it. I didn't tell her to do it. I didn't even talk about it. She just saw
Yeah.
what happened with me. So that's amazing, Don. I love that fact that your husband is following. Now, the key is staying very, very consistent. You got to stay
Yes.
consistent. Okay.
Yes.
Mary Ann, I'm gonna get to you, Cindy, and then there was somebody else that raised their hand and then they took their hand down. So don't be shy. Make sure you keep your hand up because I want to hear from you. Go ahead, Mary.
Okay, so people who know me, and there's maybe a couple of people on here who might, I have had a routine for a very long time. I'm not quite sure. As far back as high school, I was getting up before school and working out, so that has never been the issue. Um, my routine is split between day and night, though. So I am in a kind of a coaching program for some other issues right now. So I have been journaling a little bit in the mornings, but I consistently do gratitudes at night. It was how I survived my father's passing and then my mother's passing. So my routine is, get up, meditate, talk to God, do some exercise, walk the dog, come home, eat a really good, nutritious breakfast. And I personally do like a protein shake and put a bunch of stuff in it. And this was the rationale when people, are like, you're crazy. Why do you do all this in the morning? Because it is true, because it sets me up for success the rest of the day. And honestly, I have a lot of food allergies and things, so I eat pretty clean most of the time. But should I choose not to? Should I go to Aldi's and they have the gluten-free donuts? I can buy them and eat one or two, and I don't have to feel bad about that. I have set up my success for the day. And I will tell you this as well. I've studied nutrition and all these other things. If you start your day out eating pretty good, there's some sort of mental game where your brain and your body wants you to stay feeling that good the rest of the day. So it makes it a little bit easier. Um, and I also will say this. Change is really, 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 really hard. And, Jay's been talking about this. It's really easy after you get through that initial hump and excitement to kind of watch the things fall away. So this is where you have to find your own way to morph and fit these things in. For some people, it's working it in the morning. Like I said, I have a thing that I do in the morning and then a thing that I do in the evening. And so for me, the research says that if you read at night, it helps you fall asleep. So that's what I do. I read some inspirational or maybe a murder mystery, which seems counterintuitive, but it does help me sleep, which maybe should make you all worry. I don't know. But it's a good reminder to be in these groups and to talk to each other and see where the challenges are. Because for me, getting up and doing the thing has not been the problem. It's when I'm not feeling good, learning to listen to my body and say, okay, try a 5-minute walk. And if you're not feeling any better, go home and rest. Or, you got up, you're not feeling great. You did your routine, you're still not feeling great. Maybe it's time to go lay down. And that's just my, I guess, constitution. I tend to go into overdrive. And so what I will say is I've been using the X39 for just over 3 months now. And I have noticed because I too this week chose to lift a larger amount of weight and did not feel the aches and pains when I woke up this morning. But and I'm not sure I'm saying it right, the Eon patch
Yeah.
has allowed me to start implementing changes that before would have it's not that they're not scary now, but that my nervous system wouldn't have been able to handle as well before. And so I still have to use all my other tools, but having these two patches in my repertoire of all the crazy things that I do, um, it it's just making it easier to me to implement changes because I know this because I've tried them before and I've stuck with some of them and some of them have been harder to stick with. So um, I'm never perfect. I screw up on these little plans all the time, but I feel this is a good group. We're all similarly focused. And it feels really good to finally meet people who are like, yeah, I spend 2 to 3 hours in the morning grounding in different ways and centering. Because if I say that to my friends, they're like, I get up at 7 and I'm at work at 7:30 and my head explodes. So
Nice. Well, Mary, thanks for sharing that. I will just say to you guys, and different people do different things, right? And for me, reading was one of the toughest things for me to do. So I like to do the toughest things in the day. And what I found myself doing is getting too tired at night. And I wouldn't finish the amount of pages I wanted to because I'd fall asleep. And also, the reason I read in the morning is it just really stimulates my mind before I write. And it
Nice.
also carries me through the day. So, again, reading is just if you do it every day, it doesn't matter if you do it at night during the day. I'm just telling you how it benefits me. For everyone on here, if you're deciding, hey, when I'm going to read, I did try to read at night. What I do now is I read with my wife at night, relationship books, which I'm going to talk about later. So when we go to sleep every night, we listen, actually not read, we listen to a relationship book every day just to try to get better in a relationship. Cindy, go ahead.
Okay, so I want to just say this. Going to Destin and meeting you and Kendall was a game changer. For one, I have been praying for someone like you to pour into us, okay? And that was an answer prayer. And what you said last week when it said, "Show me your routine, I'll show you who you are," punched me in right in the heart. And I was like, oh, so time management, because ADHD and perimenopause, which all have been helped with the X39, praise God. I went ahead and bought your book. And, aside of the Bible, I'm very gifted in the Bible, but sometimes I have to reread and reread, and that's okay. And so that kind of goes along. And the mindset, y'all, Jay, I can't tell you the mindset shift that's happening. And I also pray and ask God to change that mindset. But the grounding is new in the sunlight. Like I'd go out in the backyard and my husband started doing that. And I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And time blocking, time management was the hardest thing. So if I knew if I was going to get on my phone with having ADHD, I needed to do what I needed to do, hit the, like, it's kind of like checking a box, but doing it in a good way. So it would become routine. Because of the X39, we can walk more, whether it's 15 minutes or an hour. I've got to get in my prayer readings, reading this because reading this at night, like you, I get sleepy and then I lose my place. So the time blocking, which I'm in school getting some certifications, is aligning up what you're saying here. The time blocking, time management, and we even printed out your whole
Yes, your food
stuff
is to be on or you'll
that
fall
you
out.
sent us. Oh, that you
It's okay, I
sent
got it.
us, I printed it out. Like my husband printed out, and I have everything that you gave us before this. I printed out, and so I can go a top by 7 o'clock, 7:30, 7:45. So changing my mindset and
You went on mute, Cindy.
okay, I'm sorry.
Sorry,
So
no worries.
you're helping me with the mindset, and the mindset is very tricky. So when you have positive feedback and you have the time blocking, 7 to 7:30, I'm gonna do this, and I have 2 hours. I'm very blessed, and I just got to get it done in 15-minute increments, hopefully. So when you said, "Show me your morning routine, I'll show you who you are," I was like, oh. So thank you for that, and I'm implementing some more stuff, and I hopefully one day will be able to write and journal and give write a book about something. I don't know. So thank you, Jay.
So I'm gonna help you with one other thing, Cindy.
Okay.
There is, no such thing as hopium. It's not a drug. So you can't hope. You just have to decide that you will. So just start writing, like if it's only for 3 or 5 minutes a day, just start writing and not say, hopefully one day I will. Just make a decision, I will, and then just start writing if for 5 minutes. And it might be crap that comes out. Who cares? The next day it might be really great. And then before you know it, you got enough stuff to write a book, stuff that you've learned. I mean, listen, everyone that's ever wrote a book has stolen every single thing that they put in their book from somebody else. They've learned from somebody else, through
Amazing.
their life, through their father, their grandfather, professors, coaches. Like everything that I've learned is stolen information from everyone else. So we're all capable. If that's a dream of yours to write a book, you can all do it because you're going to just take your perception, your experience, and you're going to put it down and say, this worked for me. And that language could speak to somebody else. So just again, I say, I'm not trying to call you out. I just want you to change your language. I want everyone to change your language. We talked about
Okay.
this last week. Language is important. There is no hopium. That hopium is not going to get you anywhere. It's only going to just say, all you're saying to yourself is maybe one day I'll be capable. Well, you're capable right now. It's just a matter of you making a decision, and all the stuff that you have in your brain that makes you think you're not is a lie. It's a complete lie. All right.
Okay, so how about this? I'm going to be a New York bestseller author in my future.
As long as you believe that and you manifest that every single day,
Yes,
then you
sir.
should say that and you should write that and you should believe that every single day. Then it will happen. So not someday, a day very soon.
Okay,
And
thank
then
you.
start working on it.
I will.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. Well, that was awesome. So let's do it again for the next 2 weeks, you guys. Why? Because repetition creates habit and habits create identity. What is your identity? You know, are you going to be the person that goes out and grounds? Are you going to be the person that is pouring into you? You guys, all this morning routine is about nothing besides me, myself, and I. It makes me a better version of me for my kids, for my wife, for my business, makes me a better leader. That's the only reason I do it. It's a non-negotiable. It's going to happen no matter what. Now, what I want to talk to you guys about today is the nightly routine. And this always gets overlooked. I know you're saying your night routine. Oh my God, how many routines do you have? I have 2. Now, I do have a routine during the day. We're going to talk about that next week to structure my day, time block, like Cindy was talking about. But what I want to talk about is night. And why? Because it's really, really important, because tomorrow starts tonight. And the reason why tomorrow starts tonight is because when you leave your office, when you're spending time with your kids, when you're spending time with your wife, you want to make sure that you're there. Because if you have a bunch of stuff on your mind from the day that hasn't left yet and you walk out of your office, you're going to carry that into your house. You're going to carry that into the festivities with your kids that evening. So I want you guys to have a night routine so that when you walk out, the lights shut off on the business. And then what opens up is the family. And so this is what my night routine looks like. And I want you guys to write this down as I'm going through this, but it's very, very simple. Okay. I finish my day around 7 p.m. every single day. Now, remember, I don't start working till like 10:30 or 11. Now, this is my choice. Why? Because my morning routine is non-negotiable. My morning time, I don't want to rush. And I love my morning time. It's the best part of my day besides the evening time with my family. It's my second favorite. My evening time is my first favorite. So some of you say, well, I can't do that. I can't work that schedule. This is what I'm going to tell you with this vocabulary, this can't word. Okay, my daughter knows there's one word that is the worst curse word in our house, and that is can't. She is not allowed to say can't. Whenever she does say it, I'm like, did you just say can't? Well, that is a bad word. She said, no, I didn't say can't. I didn't say can't. That's not what I meant. I was like, I think you said can't. I think that's what you said. She was like, I did? Like, yeah, I think you did. She was like, I'm sorry, Poppy. I won't say that again. Because this is what my grandpa used to tell me. Whenever I would say I can't, when I was playing baseball, football, basketball, doing a project at school, I said, I can't get this. I can't learn this. He said, Jay, you know, can't died in the poorhouse, right? And he just looked at me. And I didn't know what it meant when I was young. And then when I got older, I started to understand. The poorhouse is not where you want to be. The poorhouse is the excuse house. That means you never get anything done. But I know one thing about this business. One thing that Kyle and I love about this business, and that is you get to design your life in this business. That's the gift from this business. So use it. Now, you might have another job right now, but your goal needs to be, I want to be the designer of my life and my time. And so that's the schedule that I have. That's the goal that you should have. At 6:30 p.m., what I do before that 7 is I look at my calendar and I plan the next day. Like I said, it clears my mind, it resets me, and it gives tomorrow that head start that allows me to shut off the lights when I walk out of my office. Then I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. That's it. D&D. 7 o'clock, I'm not looking at my phone. I'm not answering phone calls. If it's an emergency, my friends know you need to call 911 because I'm not a fireman. I'm not a police officer. I'm not an ambulance driver. I'm not going to be able to come to your rescue because my family is the most important thing in that hour. I can't do anything until the next morning at 8 o'clock. My family is first, and I want them to feel that they're first. Then at 7 o'clock, these bad boys go on. I put on blue light glasses. Yeah, they might look a little funny, but I'm going to tell you what they're going to do. They're going to help you sleep better. And Lola's going to share the link to these glasses in the chat on Amazon. They're very, very inexpensive. But when you're looking at your phone, which I would advise not to, if you're looking at television, if you're looking at your computer, if you're running around your house has blue light everywhere. All the lights are blue light. And what this does is this gets your mind in the position to go to sleep because blue light's not coming into your eyes. So I wear these every night at 7 o'clock. I have like 3 pairs of them. I have them in my office that I walk into the house with. Then when I get into the house, I leave them downstairs. So when I come out, I can put it back in my office and I go upstairs. I put my glasses on. If we're watching television or if we're reading on the iPad, whatever it is, I always have these glasses on. Understand this, you guys. Sleep is the free medicine that nobody talks about. It's free. Now, people will argue with me and be like, yeah, but and you're sleeping, you can't get things done. And I'd rather just sleep 6 hours a day and get more done. People also say, you sleep when you die. And I say, you'll die sooner. And you're going to feel like crap in the meantime. I want to feel amazing when I'm awake. I don't want to feel like crap all the time. When you get 7 to 8 hours of sleep every day, that's good REM, that's good deep sleep, which should be at least 45 to 50% of your total sleep that you get in a night. So if you sleep 8 hours, it should be 4 hours of REM and deep. If you're not tracking it, I would advise start tracking it. There's all kinds of devices. There's Apple Watches. I wear a Whoop for the last 5 years that tracks every single thing I do. My heart rate, my HRV, my calories, my steps. What you track and measure is what you can change and affect. So get to sleep. You don't sleep when you die. But if you are here on earth right now, you're going to get way more done in that 8-hour period that you're working or 10-hour period you're working if you're rested and you feel great. And then the next thing I do is I spend 2 hours with my girls. No phones, no phone, no distractions. Now, I've allowed my kids to hold me accountable. If I pick up my telephone, they're allowed to call me out on it. It's the one thing that they're able to say to me. I'm their parent. I'm always telling them what they need to do. But if they see me with my phone, they're allowed to call me out. And my daughter does not want to see me on my phone. She hates when I'm on my phone because I'm in the office 8 hours a day. If you're not on your phone, you have full presence. Your kids can tell the difference between you being there and you being not present. Hey, mommy, speak of the devil, come say hello. I'm on a call right now, baby. I already ate, mommy, but come say hello. Come say hello. Say hi to everyone. I was just talking about you, how you don't like me being on my phone.
Sorry.
I love you. I love you. I'll come in a little bit, okay? Have a good day, baby doll. Just close the door, my love. So then I spent 2 hours with my wife. So we're in bed usually by 8:30 till 10:30, reading, which I'll talk to you in a minute about, spending time together, talking. And this is another key, you guys. This has nothing to do with my night routine, but I'm going to give you this tip. There's so many people that we talk to about this and they don't do this, but every single Friday night is date night. No excuses, not negotiable. Every Friday night, we're going on date night where it's just her and I, or maybe we invite a friend with us. If we don't go out, we go upstairs and spend our date night and order in, and our nanny still comes and watches the kids. Every Friday night, that is our time. It's not negotiable. Relationships need to be nourished. If they're not nourished, they're going to die. And then when we go to bed, we spend 15 to 20 minutes listening to a relationship book. I don't know anything about anything. I'm still learning as much as you guys are. But I know I don't know enough about relationships. I know I'm not the best at relationships. I know I could grow in that area a lot. And that's what I want to do. I want to grow with my wife. and understand how relationships work. I want to be a better husband every single day. When I die, I want my tombstone to say, best husband, best father that ever lived. That's my goal. And that's what I live for every single day, to try to bring that to my household. And I get 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night. It's non-negotiable. If we go to bed for some reason 11:30, I'm not getting up at my normal 6 o'clock time, because sleep is the number one priority. And then I'll get to my morning routine. Then I'm going to have to push my schedule back a little bit, or I'm going to have to shorten my schedule in the morning to make things happen. But sleep will always happen, no matter what. Okay, so that's what I want you guys to work on this week. I want you to tie that morning routine. I want you to tie that night routine together. This is one of the most important things, especially with what we're going to talk about next week. So I'm giving you guys all of the precursor to what we're going to talk about next week. And so what I want you guys to do for next week, for me, please, this is the assignment for the next 2 weeks. I want you to commit to your morning and night routines. Do that. You know what? Don't do it for me. I apologize. I shouldn't have said that. Do it for you. And I'm not asking you guys for perfection. Just try to be consistent. This is something new, so it's not going to be perfect, and that's okay. You know, a couple of people on here spoke about it. It wasn't perfect. I missed this. I missed that. It's okay. Just every day, try to get better and better and better. Because what's going to happen when you start doing this, you won't want to live any other way. The second thing I want you guys to do is that we talked about on the first week, identifying your 2 most important numbers. And I want you to share them with your circle, the people closest to you. I want you to talk to your husband about your number. Maybe talk to your parents. And then I want you to ask the people in your network the same. Watch what happens. And when I say your network, these are the people that are possible prospects in our business. When you start talking about money and you can segue and say, listen, this is what I'm going to make, and this is what I'm going to do, and this is my number, and this is how I'm going to get there, and this is the vehicle that's going to get me there. It's a completely different conversation. But I want you to watch what happens when you ask them. I want you to ask them, how much would they like to make per month to feel like they're living the life of their dreams? How much would you need in the bank to feel secure? Ask them those 2 questions. What you're going to find is most people don't have an answer. And most people are going to look up and to the right. Watch what their eyes do. When they look up and to the right, the reason they're looking to the right is because they don't have the answer, and they're visualizing what they want. And when you visualize, you're seeing what's in the future. You've never thought about it. So when you ask someone, they're going to go, But don't let them off the hook. Just keep saying, listen, you got a magic wand. How much would you like to make every single month that would make you feel like you're living the life of your dreams? You can drive whatever car, live in whatever house, go on whatever vacation that you want to go on. What's that number? I never thought about it. Well, think about it. What would it be? And then when they tell you the number, they need to think about that number every single day. And then I also want to talk to you about the math again, because I saw a lot of stuff in the chat, and I want to verify the math for you guys so that you guys can help other people. This is a very, very good tool to help people and also to help recruit people. Okay. So let's just say that person says $25,000 a month. Okay. So write this down, but go slow. They write 25. Now I want to make $25,000 a month. Okay, great. Okay. When they tell you I want to make $25,000 a month, that is, they want to make, they want to take home, they want to have $25,000 a month to spend. Well, the government's going to charge you probably 33% on that money. You might have some write-offs and maybe it goes down a little bit. So they're going to need to add 33% to that. All right. So 25K a month is $300,000 a year. 33% is 99,000. So they're going to need to make $399,000 per year to live off of 25,000 a month. Okay. So that is with no stress, without any financial stress, right? That's your dream life. Now let's go deeper. What if you just want to live off of your money? Meaning you don't have to work anymore because you have enough money in the bank and investments that's going to carry you for the rest of your life. So I asked them, what number? And most of the time, if they say 5 million, it's just a random number that they just threw out there. But you got to take that $25,000 a month number and get to, because if they want to live on 25K, when they retire, do they want to make less money? No, because they have more time that they're going to be going to see their grandkids, traveling, going out to eat, going to lunch than they did when they were working. So you need to make sure you say that. Like if they say, well, I mean, I could live off of 15 when I retire. So you want to make less money when you retire? Like you're going to work your whole life and then you want to make less when you retire? That doesn't sound like a good plan. Why wouldn't you want to make more? Because you have more time, you're going to spend more money. So let's just take the number, right? So if we took, let's take $6 million on our calculator. You guys pull your calculator out, right? And we'll do it together. $6 million, 6 million times 5%. That's about a good return you're going to get that's guaranteed, no risk, right? So that's going to be $300,000. And you're going to have to pay 20% capital gains tax on that. So minus 20%. That's $240,000. That's not the $300,000 I want to make. That is $20,000 a month, not 25. So that's not the number. Let's take $7.5 million. 7.5 times 5% equals 375,000. Minus 20% equals $300,000. So help people get to their number. $7.5 million will help you live the same exact standard of life that you feel like is the life of your dreams right now. This is their freedom number. This is where your money works for you. Now, also what I want you guys to do, besides just your network, I want you to sit down with your teams that's not on this call. And I want you to have the same conversation with them because they're just thinking survival right now. They're not thinking what this business can do. What if the next 15 years they could make and put away $7.5 million from this business? Have this conversation with them. It's going to light a fire. It's a wake-up call. Next week, I want to hear some of your numbers. And then I want to know why that number equals your dream life. Okay? So get that number this week. Figure it out. I want to hear your numbers. I want other people on this call to hear your numbers. Before you get on the call, I want you to talk to your family about it, your friends, and let's get that number out there because next week, we're going to tie this all together and we're going to talk about goal setting and how to goal set. Not to just write your goals down and they're going to happen. That's not how goals happen. A lot of people out there in books and the number one thing you got to do is write your goals down. Well, if you don't have a plan, then the goal is just a wish. The goal is just a dream. The dream will become a nightmare because you're never going to hit that dream if you don't have a plan. And so I'm going to walk you through a process that's going to blow your mind. I will give you a powerful document that lays out exactly what to do in this business systematically to succeed. Now, I'm going to tell you, you guys might want to bring a few people with you because this one I'm going to teach you guys next week is a game changer. It was a game changer for me. I gamified planning goals and setting goals. Okay? You guys are not going to want to miss this. Before I toss this over to Kyle, that's going to wrap this up with a beautiful bow, as he always does, because he is the master. He's a master speaker. He's a master communicator. He's master at wrapping all things up wherever we are. I'm so proud of you guys for showing up. Now, I know we changed the time, and we probably had 40 less people. Now, I don't know if that's people fell off or they're going to watch the recording, but I'm proud of you guys for showing up 3 weeks in a row. That's step one. Now you guys have to execute. Execution is so important, you guys. People always ask me this question. I've been speaking for years. People come up to me and always ask me when I've been in the insurance industry or the financial services industry, all the industries that I've coached in, why do you share everything? Why do you share your playbook, your secrets, your best tips? Aren't you afraid that someone's going to outwork you or outshine you one day? And here's the truth. This is what I know. Only 1 to 3% ever execute. The rest, they just consume and don't act. And I'm telling you this because this is a challenge. This is a known fact. 1 to 3% will ever execute on anything that they ever learn. Think about this. There are millions of books with life-changing information in them. People that have been living 40, 50 years, that put 40 or 50 years of experience on one topic in business in 270 pages.
Sí, no tiene poquitos
Hold on a
meses.
second. Let me.
¿Dos, tres?
Lola, can you get that person?
Está bien.
Thank you. There are millions of books. Yet, how many people read them? How many people invest time reading in 270 pages what took them 40 years to learn? All the mistakes, all the things to do. How many actually implement and execute when they do read them, when they do learn? I'm giving you guys a playbook that took me from nothing to becoming a multimillionaire in my life. I don't say that to brag. I'm just telling you what it took because I shouldn't be sitting here. I made a decision. Was it easy? Heck no. Was it worth it? Heck yes. And nothing would make me prouder than watching you guys surpass me because then guess what? I get to learn from you. And I would love that. It's funny. I have to tell people all the time when they tell me that I've changed their life. And if it wasn't for me, they wouldn't be where they are. This is the truth. I did nothing. I tell them that I did nothing. I absolutely did nothing. They did everything and they deserve all the credit. If you guys do something with this call over the next 3 months, I deserve nothing. I was just a catalyst. I just brought you the information. But you're going to do the most important part, and that's the work. That's the most important part, is doing the work, being consistent, being disciplined, having the right mindset. I had nothing to do with your success. You have to take ownership of that success. You have to take ownership of what you're going to accomplish. There's nothing special about me. Nothing. I came from nothing. I didn't finish college because I had a young child. I had to work. I had to provide. The only thing different about me is I make a decision every single day. I changed all my habits. I committed. I executed. Now it's your turn. So let's go do something extraordinary in this world together. We have a product, you guys, that changes lives. We just got off of a call. That's why we had to push the call, because we had a call with the SPDs. And the first thing that David gets on the call and says is, we're doing all these clinical studies and it's crazy what people are saying and what it's doing for them. We have the most amazing opportunity in our hands right now. We have the Steve Jobs, the Elon Musk of wellness. We have a lottery ticket in our hands, and we get to decide what the lottery ticket's worth. Don't let this pass you guys by. Don't live with regret. Live on your terms. Don't live on terms based on someone else's opinion of what's possible or impossible. Nothing is impossible. Everything is in your hands. Everything is in your mind. So I will ask you, how will you execute? When will you execute? Start today. Start today. Don't start tomorrow. Start today. I want to thank you guys again for trusting me with your precious, precious time, because I know how precious time is showing up in the middle of the afternoon. You guys don't have to do this. I just appreciate spending time with you guys, and I really, really appreciate. Kyle, take us home, my brother.
Jay, dude, this is a masterclass every time, man. It's like there's so many. You guys, I hope you're taking notes. Danny McDaniel, one of the SPDs, said a long time ago, he goes, never trust your fortune or your future to your memory. And so Jay's giving you the tools that you need to have the future you want and have the fortune that you want. I sure hope everybody is taking notes because it's brilliant, man, and I appreciate it. And by the way, nice new office, my friend. That looks so good. We got on. I was like, babe, Jay's new office. Look, come here. It looks so good. hey, what you said, okay, so this is how big of a deal it is to me. My saying for, I don't know, I'm 40, for probably 25 years of my life. My dad used to tell me this in high school. He'd say, win the day, win the day, win the day. And what that means to me is that when I go to bed at night, I'm never the same person that I was when I woke up, right? When you lay your head on your pillow, you're different. You're either slightly better or you're slightly worse. It was applied to athletics for most of my life. It was like once I crossed that line walking onto the field, I was going to leave a different person, either slightly better or slightly worse. So it was all about winning the day. If you win the day and you do it day in and day out, win 5 days, win 6 days, then you win the week. And then when you string together a winning week and you do that for another week and another week, you win the month. And that's how you ultimately win in life, right? And so this is so important, Jay, what you were talking about, morning routine is so important that our kids have gotten a lot better, but just 2 nights ago, I was like, all right, I don't think you guys are getting it. I said, here's what I want to do. And so this is what I'm encouraging all of y'all as well. I said, do y'all want to go on a little bit of journey? And I'll pay you for doing some things. And they're like, okay. I said, you're going to wake up every morning before school. You're going to read the chapter in the Bible. I'm just going to have them read Proverbs right now, right? Then you're going to read 10 pages of a book. I'm picking the book. We're all reading it together so we can talk about it at dinner. You're going to also be active every single day. My son, I swear he's active for 4 or 5 hours in different sports. My daughter, she'll have 3 or 4 days a week. She's not unless we ask her to be, right? So I'm like, for at least 20 to 30 minutes a day, Paisley Joe, you got to be active. I don't care what it is. Peloton, basketball, tennis, it doesn't matter. And then also you have to we don't pay our kids for chores. They know what they have to do around here. We pay them nothing for it. That's a part of being in the family. But I will pay them to do this morning routine and to read. John Maxwell said the greatest thing his dad ever did was paid him to read. So I'm like, are y'all in? And they're like, we're in. And my nephew, who's 20 years old, is staying with us as well. So I've watched my nephew, get this, Jay, and somebody else said this on the call. Maybe it was Mary Ann. You talk about people that wake up at 7:30 and they're at work at 8. My nephew has more hunger and drive inside of him than anybody that I've seen that's 19 in a long time. But I've now watched him wake up and he's out the house in 15 minutes and he's off to work. And I'm like, all right, we got to get a morning routine for this guy. So I'm like, Carson, are you in? He's like, I'm in. And I said, okay, great. Everyone's in. But if you don't do it, you're paying me $100. So there's 31 days in a month. There's, you got your weekends. I said, you really probably have 23, 24 days a month of during the week. I'll even give you 20 for the first month, but 20 days in a row. I said, you miss one day and you owe me $100. So they're all in. So I would encourage you guys with this. And I used to do this when we used to have a team in our last company that was local. People would come over and I would say, the next time you come over, I want you to bring $500 and $100 bills. Just trust me and just bring them. And they'd bring $500. And then I'd say, now can I hold it, please? Okay, we're going to hold $500. Because everyone would come to the house. We did these workday Thursdays and everyone would come to the house and they would want the same thing. Man, I need to go out and bring 2 or 3 more customers or 2 or 3 more promoters into the business this next week. Or I need to help this person get to manager, or I really, really need to help her to get to director this month. And I would take their money and I would say, what if I told you weren't getting this money back unless you actually recruited 2 people into the business before you came to my house next week? Do you know how many people do it? Every single one of them. Every one of them. Right? And so the stakes are different. And so their behavior is different. And when Jay's talking about a morning routine, we don't understand the stakes of our morning routine. You can't win the day unless you win the morning. You don't understand what's at stake. Bezos Kulian has a podcast, and I was listening to it on a run today, and he's talking about optimizing your life. Optimizing your life. And it made me think, what if all of you on this call, what if you knew with certainty that by the end of the year, whatever job or business you have, you weren't going to have anymore? You were either fired or AI took it over or your business collapsed. It doesn't matter. And you knew that by Christmas this year, it was over. What would you do? How would you optimize this business to immediately replace and surpass your current income? I believe with all of my heart, 99% of you would do it. I really do, because the stakes are high, because you have to live, you have to pay bills. There's no way you can go without your current income. But we don't wake up every day and attack this business like that. We attack it like it's here forever. We'll do a little bit at a time. We'll hopefully get lucky and sign up at Jay Atkins, and then everything's fine. Guys, that's not going to happen. The luckier you get is always when you're working the hardest, right? The harder you work, the luckier you are. And so I would just encourage you to raise the stakes a little bit. Maybe for the next 2 weeks, as Jay mentioned, maybe you should take $500 and you should give it to a spouse or you should give it to a trusted friend and say, if I don't commit to my morning routine and now my nightly routine, which by the way should only take like 10 minutes if I understood you right, Jay, to really plan kind of what you're doing the next day. If I don't commit and you keep me accountable every day, that money is yours. Raise the stakes a little bit in your life and see what happens. And then the last thing that I'll say, because I heard or I saw Shannon talking about a lot of people are responding at night, and I totally appreciate that. But you have to pick business hours. And I don't mean they don't have to be the same every single day, but you cannot go throughout the day where you're always available because you're training everyone that you're always available. And then if you don't respond at 8:30, and then they're like, well, I asked you this last night and you didn't respond. No, no, no. Don't train people to treat you a way that you shouldn't be treated. I know if I reach out to Jay after 7 o'clock, he's not responding until tomorrow. And there's a lot of times I do, right, Jay? And then you respond at 10 o'clock the next morning or whatever. It's not a big deal. I'm just, I got this on my mind. I'm going to text you. And so train people the way that you wanted to be treated. I would say that number one. Jay, masterclass again. I don't even know how to add to that, dude. It's so good. It's gold.
So and just I want to add a couple things that you said, Kyle, was great. Such good. First of all, what you just said about Shannon, we sell this business as us being able to have a better life. And if you're always available to everyone, then you're not living into what this business could be. And you just have to set expectations for people. You can't, and if you want to control your life, you can't let the business control you. And so you just got to have that time, a window that you're dealing with people. And then the other thing that I would say along what you said, I'm going to give you another example from a good friend of mine, Gary John Bishop. He spoke at one of my events and he gave this example. And I want you guys to think about this for a second. He was talking about how people want to go after their goals and how serious are you about your goals. And he was like, well, let me ask you this. Let's put things in a different perspective. Let's just say that your kid got kidnapped. All right. And the kidnappers called you and they said, Jay, I need $100,000 to get your child back. And he said, how long do you think it would take you to get that $100,000? Like 30 minutes, 15 minutes? Like you would be doing everything in your power to get that $100,000 to get your kid back. And he's like, do you treat your life and your success the same way? And if you really, really want it, what are you willing to do? Because for your kid, of course, you're going to do anything. But why not for yourself? Why aren't you willing to do whatever it takes for yourself to create that success because you know it's going to take you to the next level? So just think about that for a minute. I mean, obviously the kid thing is an obvious thing. You would do whatever for your child, but you won't do whatever for you. And so just sit with that for a minute and think about how that is. You're not doing what you should be doing for yourself. But when it comes to someone else, your kid, of course we would do that, but do it for yourself. So thank you so much, Kyle, for that. Thank you guys so much for being here and showing up and pouring into yourself. I really, really look forward to seeing you guys in 2 weeks. I have something special that you guys are going to love, a takeaway that's going to take everything that we've learned and we're going to put it into an actual goal setting and being able to plan exactly what you need to do every single day in this business to take your business to the next level. So thank you guys so much for showing up. And Kyle, thanks for helping out and always having the master words, my friend. You're the best.
Appreciate you.
Have a great day, you guys.